Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, real-time documentation of the state of California's criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California in violation of existing federal law, that is 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is ongoing documentation that is specifically gathered following my release from kidnapping by this entity that was ceaselessly monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. and in violation of Title 15 and in violation of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, as I was subject to the same exact criminal pattern of conduct while kidnapped by this entity seeking to conceal this criminal system that I am documenting and publishing and exposing on the venue of the internet, where I am also subject to the criminal pattern of conduct, and understand that kidnapping is the pattern of conduct that is criminal obstruction of justice, as the entity seeks to avoid prosecution and to avoid documentation and exposure for engaging in this criminal system. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity. They are engaging in federal stalking as I am kidnapped by the state inside of the state facilities, all right? And they are fully engaging in kidnapping upon criminal summoning. So this is the this is the entity from beginning to the end engaging in the criminal acts of the federal stalking and the acts of criminal obstruction of justice. This is also documentation on the venue of the internet engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct via obstruction of justice, and this is in any way reducing or removing the ability to publish the ongoing documentation of the state's criminal pattern of conduct, which is waging an ongoing threat to my life as I remain subject to this criminal system. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct on the venue of the internet, okay? And that is the totality of what I have documented since release. I was kidnapped from June 18, 2021 from third-party facilitating venue of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the Ontario Police Department were monitoring, and this in conformity to the ongoing wealth of documentation that I have already published, specifically revealing the Ontario Police Department engaging in monitoring and kidnapping, which was via the assertion of a fictitious warrant pursuant to a fictitious prosecution. That is the people of the state of California v. Erica Lorraine Spencer, case number Mary Wendy Victor 2000640. I was subject to kidnapping pursuant to this fictitious prosecution, documentation on the facility cameras everywhere that I was inside of the facility of West Valley, located at 9700 Etiwana Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, California, and at the state facilitating venue of the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, located at 8303 Haven Avenue in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, and I was subject to federal stalking ceaselessly at the jail, at the courthouse, in the courtrooms, okay? The same exact pattern of conduct ceaselessly underway. The kidnapping serves obstruction of justice, and that this is kidnapping that I endured from June 18th, 2021 up until August 16th, 2021. This is the P.O.C.
Thursday, September 9th, 2021. This is the P.O.C, Pattern of Conduct, documentation, real-time documentation of the state of California, engaging in what is a satanic targeting system as they are engaged in the criminal act, unprecedented in the fact that it is a public entity acting in concert with the people of the state that are together engaging in what is the demonic practices accomplishing the criminal purpose of federal stalking by entity in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. As the state is engaging in these ceaseless criminal elements together, light activity and relevant positioning, this is the exposure of what are an entity acting together to maintain those elements, which is that entity engaging in what is sexually violent, terrorism, and harassment of an American citizen while the public entity is practicing this targeting system. This is the P.O.C. It's 2:51 a.m. and the state engaging in stalking with activities. So that's literally as I make a new move, engaging in taking off right here, and that's what I took a picture of. The state is flying, hovering over the museum right here, and amplifying audible activity, and doing so pursuant to what while I am currently being molested with directed light. This is ongoing criminal monitoring and stalking by the state. It's 2:52 a.m. Flying over the same location right here over me. Amplified audible activity. This is stalking by a public entity. And not going anywhere. This is also called pacing. It's 2:58 a.m. Flashing light on the wall while the train and the state is using a plane to engage in an ambush of audible activity. That's the same train, and the state just gets louder, and it's the exact same train. Alright, that's the state playing a tape of noise while a train is in motion on the tracks. The volume level vacillates. The state is flashing light. That's P.O.C. It's 5:21 a.m. That is P.O.C. Impossible light activity remains while that is ongoing maintenance of audible activity. It is 5:55 a.m. That's literally noise on a microphone. Same with that traffic sound. It's on a microphone. That's P.O.C. It's 5:58 a.m. It is 6:11 a.m. That was the sound of another plane behind the other one that just took off on right here over the museum. The state is not going anywhere. It's repeatedly playing a tape of planes, okay, at different volumes, in the same way it's playing the sound of a train vacillating in the volume, all right, while it is remaining in relevant position. And also be clear, this is documentation of what is the state engaging in stalking, following from place to place, engaging in incessant monitoring with communication devices and terrorism, as this is demonic, the state of California acting with the people. This is the same exact pattern of conduct that, for example, the Ontario Overfamily Community Library is engaged in right now. That pattern of conduct remains underway while I'm at that venue. It is the same P.O.C. while I'm at the museum, and that same actor at that venue is engaging in this conduct now. It's the same for Starbucks, all right? It's the same for Mercy House. It is the same for Woodside Senior Apartments. This is the pattern of conduct that has been ceaselessly underway as I have documented the state engaging in this stalking conduct. So there is no separation, let me be clear. And this is documenting the state engaging in this pattern of conduct everywhere that I go, and all the actors remain responsible for that. So I just want to, I've demonstrated that through the documentation. The P.O.C. is an ongoing criminal act by the government acting vicariously through the people. And that's why you have the same environment at the Ontario Overfamily Community Library. They remain responsible for what the state is doing at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they are the same entity that are stalking around the museum, monitoring right now at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. It's P.O.C. at 6:14 a.m. witnessing demonic activity. The state is literally just going back and forth between different sounds that it's making while a train is seen on the tracks and the volume is turned up, and it is used as a means of what is maintaining audible activity and doing so in concert with the group presence of the entity. And this is entirely demonic, what you're listening to. And unnatural in volume. Layering of audible activity. In the same way that the state layers its directed light, this is layering of audible noise. referring to, the illusion that the volume is getting louder and lower as the train is in motion, that's what the state is doing with volume amplification. Just like you hear the plane, it's a tape, a loud tape. This is all the ongoing illusion of going somewhere, the ongoing illusion while the state is just stalking. And the Ontario Police, for example, they're sitting around monitoring to this maintenance of audible activity. That is what is demonic about it. The ongoing noise is being deliberately manipulated, for example, while the state's not going anywhere. Plane is flying over one after another, and the state is playing a very loud sound of a plane flying over at the same time. Louder than it actually is. And doing so repeatedly. Playing the sound of a train, turning it up very loud, and then turning it down low as though the train is at a distance, and creating that. The state is engaging in illusion with sound as it does with illusion with light. It's demonic. While demon-possessed stalkers remain in the path. 6:36 a.m. and it's getting louder, and it's the same train, same location, same conduct of being on the same train tracks. It vacillates in volume. This is demonic activity. It's an ongoing manipulation of the environment. They're monitoring. This is entirely satanic, what you listen to, and it's unnatural. The same with the traffic you're hearing. All of it is on a microphone. That's called amplification. The state was creating these same noise effects, its artificial activity, inside of a jail cell while I am kidnapped by the state. So that's what I'm trying to relate to you, because you see the train track, because you see the vehicle on the street. This does not make that the activity. The state is engaging in demonic conduct, the maintenance of an environment as it surrounds me for criminal monitoring. This is demonic activity. As you are listening to what is audible noise, you are witnessing demonic activity. That is the people of the state, as the guise under which audible activity is being created, the form being traffic, that same form while I'm inside of third-party facilitating venue, economy in, traffic, I put that in air quotes, loudly heard inside of the room, inside of the bathroom, while I'm standing inside of the vanity at the opposite end of the room, and possible audible activity. They are monitoring, and the state uses that as the form for the maintenance of audible activity. It's demonic. The same form applies right now, and it is on a microphone. The state engaging in that same creation of activity inside a state facilitating venue, West Valley, while I was kidnapped. Equally impossible audible activity. In other words, what you're listening to right now is amplified sound of traffic. Why? Because Euclid Avenue is out here along where the museum is, and the state is amplifying the sound of traffic. You're witnessing demonic activity. That environment, that conduct is ongoing. That's the creation of audible activity. I have described and documented being inside of a venue where the state creates the sound of what is like a cracking room, just creating noise around me. It's demonic, what you're listening to. Demonic activity. That's plane engines blowing in the background. The sound of plane engines, which the state does randomly while I walk around outside on the sidewalk. Just hearing plane engines amplified over my head. That's what the state is doing right now. Demonic. Stalker. Stalking with noise. state is pressing play on a tape of a sound of a plane while the state was already hovering in an aircraft as it flies over. So it presses play and then raises the volume as though a plane is coming from a distance, flying over, and necessarily taking off over the museum, right? That's demonic. That's the psychopath personified through the audible activity. Those same group stalkers, which are the guys, even though there is no guys, there's no form, but I'm showing you what is demonic as the entity is monitoring. Those same group stalkers in their vehicles, which are the guys under which the state is amplifying the sound of traffic, those same demon-possessed stalkers are the ones that you see, as I've captured day in and day out on video, with trails of impossible light shooting backwards opposite toward me as they cross path under what is not the sun in directed light. All right, it's demonic. And that's what the state is demonstrating through its audible activity as well, using the people, the same demon-possessed stalker, as the form for maintenance of audible activity. And then when I capture those demons on tape, they have streams of what is not sunlight, impossible light, shooting backwards like a laser toward me. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. It's demonic. That literally sounds like a tape. It's echoic. And the state just raises the volume as a train visibly approaches. The state creates the same noise when no train is on the tracks. Remember that. The state amplifies the same sound of a train while I'm inside of the private residence of Woodside Senior Apartments, inside of the vehicle at 630 North Fern Avenue. All right? Everywhere that you're going, the state is creating this. It's a soundtrack. It's P.O.C. It's demonic. And you are literally witnessing what is the personification of psychopaths in their conduct. By their conduct, that's how you know them, by their conduct. That's a psychopath. That's demon possession. That's stalking with noise. The exact same amplification in a different method, which the state also engages in, what is the sensational activity creation of acting like it's an earthquake as the train is in motion, which is also equally impossible. But this is documented conduct. getting louder and louder, same train track. This is a soundtrack for noise. It's audible activity, and it's entirely demonic. The state is flying around in a helicopter monitoring to this. The Ontario Police Department are sitting around in relevant position monitoring to this. The people of the state of California are maintaining group presence monitoring to this. And this is the same conduct inside of any venue. The people of the state are demon-possessed stalkers, the people of the state of California, and they're inside of venues, in the state's directed light, under the state's fake sun, right? Maintaining noise inside of any venue where I'm at. Stalking with noise, the same demonstration of demon possession. They do the same thing indoors. Amplification. Sensational activity. It's so loud that it's rumbling the ground. It's creating an earthquake. That's demonic. And that is called amplification. While the state is literally sitting around, hovering in an airplane, waiting to stalk, meaning fly over in relevant position. They're already there, stalking. And then they play the soundtrack of the sound of a plane. And then they rapidly turn it down, for example, at their discretion. Turn that sound up and down. It vacillates. It's absolutely abnormal. Everything that I'm speaking to and narrating as the state is engaging in it. In the same way that the activity of the state's conduct with light is a deliberate maintenance of an environment, what I'm speaking to, what is the deliberate maintenance of audible activity and the ways in which the state is manipulating everything you're hearing. Every sound of beeping, every sound that you're hearing in the background, it's intentional and it's artificial. The state is manipulating that. It's ongoing monitoring conduct, and it's demonic activity. This maintenance of audible activity is ceaseless, and it occurs, like I said, including inside of state facilitating and third-party facilitating venues. This is the terrorism as the state is engaging in the criminal element of audible activity creation on a constant basis. That is how, in that regard, as they engage in that element, the state is engaging in what is terrorism. As this is the practicing of what is that which is of the demonic together, serving a criminal purpose. It's 7:03 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, immediately following, this is called the layering and the continuity of audible activity under what is a fake sun and indirected light. That's the state sounding sirens, AMR, Ontario Police Department. Immediately following my documentation of Southwest Airlines engaging in what is federal stalking and to be prosecuted against that third-party actor. terrorism of an American citizen. The state following with sirens, just like it did last night as I documented Amtrak engaging in what is sexual violence and terrorism. The state amplifies the sound of a plane, and the Ontario Police Department sound their sirens and that's a demonic communication of hostility following that communication of what is documentation of Amtrak, and that's how it's going to be prosecuted, and that's what that company, that commercial actor, is going to be identified and meshed with, because that's what it's doing with the state. And in the same way, the state sounds its sirens. So they are both engaging in the elements of monitoring. Understand that this is demonic possession, and as they engage in the elements of monitoring, this is also the communication of hostility by these demon-possessed actors, which is also translated into what is the terrorism. And you're also looking at what is, as I document, that ongoing continuity of audible activity, one after another, after another, after another, after another. That's the P.O.C. And this is in directed light under a fake sun. So that is the state creating sirens, which is amplified audible activity, while they are already stalking in relevant position. Those are the demon-possessed state actors: AMR, Ambulance, American Medical Response, the Ontario Police Department. All right? It is 7:49 a.m., immediately following documentation of Southwest Airlines. That is the continuity of audible activity under all of the same circumstances. That's P.O.C. That's the state acting directly. All right, it is 8:06 a.m. I just captured another video just relaying the point that I made with while I was underneath the north side of the museum, while the state flies over in one of its own planes, not a third-party plane, which is amplified audible activity, group stalking in an airplane, and while the people of the state are pacing in traffic, all right, and you're looking at the light source, you're looking at federal stalking, and you're looking at demon possession. While I captured this video from a different vantage point at the museum, you have what is the state demonstrating what is the impossibility, because I'm reminding you about where I am and where the state's fake sun is. Even right now as I walk to transit, the state's fake sun is no longer over the center of the museum as I stand there capturing that video. So there are no circumstances based on even the position of the state's fake sun, because that is not the sun, as is already, that's a readily known scientific fact. But you're even looking at what I'm pointing out is the blatant stalking conduct with light. SoCal Gas is engaging in monitoring. CAT is engaging in monitoring because you've got a third party using that commercial vehicle. Amazon Prime in the city of Ontario, and 6EUJ193. They're all engaging in federal stalking, while the state's fake sun is no longer over the museum building. The state's fake sun is right here in alignment to me as I stand by the fire. I'm sorry, this is next to the sign of the Ontario Museum of History Art, next to the, I want to say a fire extinguisher, the sidewalk. I'll just say the sidewalk. The state's fake sun is no longer over the building at all, okay? But yet you have yesterday, while I'm there after 8 a.m., and I'm capturing that light activity of the state aiming light at an angle underneath that north side of the walkway, okay? So let me show you where the state's fake sun is, and recall that video, those pictures that I took. All right, I just captured video in order to show what is the ongoing point. Actually, I've already shown it, so I'm just making my point. I've left the museum earlier. Let me give you this: 1120733. Using that school bus, and substantial and possible light activity is appearing. Understand, those buses are golden. They're like a rich gold yellow with black lettering. And the state, at the same time that this bus is moving, there is a substantial and very tall and thick white light appearing on the asphalt as that school bus crosses path. All right, that's using a school bus, which, by the way, while children are on that bus, you're engaging in federal stalking and sexual violence and terrorism with minor children. Demon-possessed stalker 152793. 152793, vehicle number 1883, Ontario Police, on traffic cameras right now at 8:11 a.m. They are engaging in terrorism and sexual violence and federal stalking. While the fake sun is directly over me while they are crossing path. That's on the traffic cameras. They're engaging in stalking conduct with Omnitrans, which is at the bus stop. All right? With that school bus that crossed path, that's what that's about. While the school bus crosses path and that absolutely ridiculous impossible light activity occurs, the Ontario Police are in the path already stalking coming down transit. All right, and this is how that ongoing maintenance of that environment amongst what is directed light and a fake sun that's over my head, no longer over the museum. Whereas yesterday at this time, I'm still at the museum and the state is aiming light underneath the north side of that walkway. All right, as though that's sunlight. And the state's light source is nowhere over that building anymore. That light activity would coexist at the same location at the same time on a daily basis, right? That's P.O.C. I want to get this group stalker. She's sitting in her vehicle. She's monitoring with the Ontario Police. And this heavy-set stalker gets out, and she's going to be on camera inside of the 150 East Holt. She's license plate 8GFZ744, engaging in stalking and monitoring with the police. And she's a sex offender. She's monitoring with the state. And this is how you're analyzing the entity. They're molesting together, they're stalking together, and engaging in terrorism together. It's 8:12 a.m.
So I already...
she's wearing all black spandex.
I already talked to the workers and the county and everything. So they say that it's already being changed. And they told me to come back and so they can run my medical again and see if it's already, so they can give me another appointment.
If it's already changed?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What is your name?
H-A-S-E-L-L.
All right, she's the one engaging in federal stalking. I'm going to use your restroom. Thank you. That's a group stalker monitoring with the Ontario Police. And again, waiting for form to enter, where the fake sun is over the venue, where the state is stalking directly by law enforcement, where the state is stalking with directed light. And you have 4 shadows that appear inside of the bathroom as I enter at 150 East Holt Boulevard. All right, it is 8:13 a.m. and that's P.O.C. And that third party whose license plate I read, engaging in federal stalking and is a sex offender and is literally engaging in stalking on behalf of the government with the Ontario Police who are crossing paths at the same time. Her name is Hazel. That's what you just communicated. P.O.C. All right, this is activity creation by group stalkers entering inside of the restroom. Stalking with activity. As I engage in a new activity, which is digging in my bag to empty out trash, this group stalker enters inside of the restroom and does so. And what's her form coming into the toilet? She's in directed light. The state's fake sun is over the venue, and she's entering pursuant to the demonic behavioral pattern. This is what they were doing yesterday as well. They were pacing, opening and closing the bathroom door while I was inside of it. And so entering in to use the bathroom is the engagement in attempting to have form in that cart. This is group activity and sexually perverted demon-possessed stalkers. All right? This is allied as a means of all. To show. This audible activity you're hearing is a means of stalking. They patrol onto the elevator while they are aware of what I'm doing inside of the bathroom. This is how they engage in activity creation. All right, and Hazel, whose license plate we did get, she's engaging in federal stalking and sexual violence in concert with these third parties whose names you don't know. But this is a state-facilitated venue. This is P.O.C. And they are armed with cameras as well. 150 East Holt Boulevard. Stalking with activity inside of the bathroom. Okay? That's the psychopath sex offender. That's the amplification of traffic. That's P.O.C. All right. It is currently 8:31 a.m. And That is sexual violence documented at State Facilitating Venue, 150 East Hope Boulevard, Ontario Public Health Clinics. That is a vessel of the state acting directly, providing a facilitating venue for sexual violence and federal stalking. That is terrorism. License plate 4178Y2, substantially similar. Omnitrans 1370395. License plate 6ACX560 41467C2 5DRT738 8WTX551. All right, as these demons cross path, very tall, white colored fluorescent. It's directed light backwards behind their vehicle, stretching across the asphalt. All right, this is what you, and as they drive in the opposite direction, driving west on Hall Boulevard as well, in front of their cars. The fake sun is at the intersection right here over the building, over what is the 3-star janitorial, waiting for me to come so it can stay over my head as I walk east on Hope Boulevard. So as they're driving west on Hope Boulevard, this fluorescent colored directed light is in front of their cars, and as they're driving east, it's behind their cars, pointing in the direction toward me. Okay, this is demon possession. License plate 7JJX227, federal stalking using a school bus. Okay, 5EEP178. 48452 Nancy 1. It is 8:33 a.m. All right, I want to, I just reviewed the audio. I was going in between camera and my podcast. So what I captured in picture are the group stalkers pushing a cart. And understand they are aware in real time of what you're doing, so they are maintaining cooperatively activity as you move, engage in anything, including entering and exiting. So as I'm exiting and when I'm documenting the group stalker that enters in, and I'm speaking to the demonic behavioral pattern with which she enters, and that is as I engage in a new activity of digging in my bag, she enters in. Okay, usually I pick up my bag, I exit the door. I did not do that. I stopped in the middle of doing that, and I dig in my bag to empty out any trash that I had. As I do this, this group stalker, a sex offender, this is a state actor, she's an employee of the building, enters in and creates activity inside of the venue where that same environment is engaged, that same environment is present. And federal stalking by the state does not stop. So you're looking at what is and understanding what is sexual violence by that entity that is ceaselessly engaging in federal stalking. And the demonic behavioral pattern, she enters while I'm engaging in a new activity. As I open the door, what I'm stating is that the cart that this group stalker is pushing, that's called audible activity in directed light, with simultaneity to my exit of the restroom and both operation of my communication device. That is what she is doing. Allied Universal is monitoring to that, all right? Remaining in relevant position. And as I stand at the door, the state is amplifying through the door loud motors, traffic. This is a creation of noise, and also did the same thing while I was in the bathroom. And the other thing that I was pointing out was that while I am inside of the restroom, the directed light that I captured, the multiple shadows, as they are entering in, having zero form. Using the restroom is not form for what is ongoing federal stalking. There is no form. But I'm letting you know, you don't even have any plausible form. It does not exist where federal stalking is underway. There is nothing that supersedes the state's criminal activity of monitoring. Nothing. And they are literally engaging in what is demonic activity. This is terrorism while you're being a sex offender, all right? It is 8:36 a.m., and that's what I wanted to point out. It is the ongoing pacing. While you're witnessing and while I'm documenting what is the ongoing maintenance of this environment, as you're looking at traffic drive by, it's called relevant positioning. As you are looking at people walk by, it's called relevant positioning, and you are witnessing what are demon-possessed individuals pacing, because this is one entity that's maintaining presence in that environment. So this is the ongoing exposure of demonic activity. That's what you're looking at, all right? And that is irrespective of any commercial vehicle where the same directed light is occurring and is focused on where I am and what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Whether you're in a private vehicle, in your private residence, or in a public establishment, all right? State or third-party facilitating venues, because that's what they are. They're facilitating venues where this criminal pattern of conduct is underway. This is the P.O.C. and it is 8:57 a.m. All right, I just captured another video so you can witness the demonic activity, and that is the direct evidence as to what is revealing demon-possessed stalkers that are the people of the state, and it is the entire entity, because what you are looking at is the randomness. All right, you go to a Starbucks restaurant, the state's pattern of conduct is underway. You stand on the sidewalk, the state's pattern of conduct is underway. And the video that I just captured at 8:47 a.m., pay attention to the shaded area on the street. And as I'm describing this impossible light, you will see as the vehicles drive by, if you pay attention toward the latter part, you will see that tall fluorescent colored light, bars of light that are in motion as these vehicles are crossing paths. This is absolutely impossible light. And I have video after video of this already, but I'm giving you another example. And this is the randomness of being at any place and this impossible conduct is occurring. Understand that that is the revealing of what is demonic. And this is the state of California, the people of the state of California who are demon possessed. They are engaging in what is together criminal, and it's terrorism, as they engage in their demonic conduct together. And you will see in the video that I'm describing the directed light, you'll see the directed light in the shade as the vehicles cross, they're crossing paths as the vehicles drive by, and you'll see it appear in the shade. They are tall bars, I call them bars, like lines, if you will, of very tall, fluorescent colored, impossible light. And the very thing that I'm describing, and you'll see it in the video, pay attention. And this is what you're looking at in everything that I have documented, even before I started focusing in on it, and the state became aware, in other words, that I'm pointing out every way in which they're engaging in demonic conduct and federal stalking. All right? Before I was focusing on the state's fake sun, the state was engaging in very, very obvious conduct with the fake sun, right? Before I started pointing it out. So then the state engages in more aggressive, but tries to engage in acting, feigning as though this is actually the sun, as I point out the fact that it's actually not the sun. And the state has been stalking with light. So as I point out the directed light activity, the state engages in failure, but trying to suggest that this is actual light activity. But I don't think that there's any way that you can. What I am showing you, and this is why and how it is direct evidence, because as the state is engaging in this conduct, and you are looking at the environment, which is entirely impossible to be naturally occurring. Light does not stream behind a vehicle, where you are driving underneath the sun, first of all, streaming across the asphalt and the sidewalk up to the heights of the buildings. This is all that I've documented, and you'll see that again this morning in this video as I'm describing it. Light trailing behind the passenger side of the vehicles as they drive by me. That is the directed light is focused on where I am as they drive east and as they drive west. It's in front of their cars coming in my direction. That is the entirety of exposing what is demonic conduct. And it is telling you by that environment that they are focused. This is revealing what is a demon, and it's revealing what is stalking with the state. Okay, that unnatural environment is the marker of both. And this is what you'll see in the video. You'll see that light activity. But I have been capturing this for years, even before I let the state know by directly pointing it out of what you're looking at, such as multiple shadows, such as a light source above my head that's remaining all day long everywhere I go. That's not the sun. Okay, but I have been capturing this for years, including in different areas when I was nowhere near Hope Boulevard, such as Vine Avenue and G Street, and the state's fake sun remained up there at that block, because that's where I was living in my car at 714 North Vine, and the state's fake sun remained over that block right there, just like the state was flying over my car, as I documented on my podcast, chiefly from August 2019, and starting there into video documentation as well. So I just want to make sure I point that out, because that's what I am speaking to in my video, and you will witness it yet again. You're going to pay attention as they're driving, and you'll see that directed light. That is letting you know about the condition of the people of the state, just like I have stated, but you can witness it for yourself. This is absolutely impossible to naturally be occurring. This is demonic conduct that the people of the state of California are engaging in, and that the government is engaging in. All right, and doing so with awareness that an American citizen that the state is targeting is documenting it. All right, so this is speaking to the threat posed by that entity that's engaging in that conduct, and the threat posed by those demon-possessed stalkers that are the people of the state, where you have a random car that is driving by. That's random, okay? I'm standing on the sidewalk. Anybody can drive by. While you have a random person drive by and you have that ongoing light activity, which is absolutely impossible, that is the fusion of the entire group. That is what ties it all together, okay? And that is also revealing what is demonic activity. All right, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to document, because this was some heavy-duty sexual violence, documented the entirety of the entity, including Hazel. We got Hazel, her license plate and her name, and her image are on the cameras inside of state facilitating venue, but I'm going to get more who are acting with Hazel. License 8CVR965, and they're group stalking in the parking lots, group stalking in their cars. Understand, while I'm on Holt Boulevard, they maintain presence of the path by being on the streets that are aligned to me, for example, on Transit, while I walk down Holt, and the state's fake sun is over me on Holt. Okay, which is exactly what happened while as I exit 150 East Holt. Now the state's fake sun is not along Holt; it's right over me on Transit. All right, I've already shown this in documentation, but I'm just letting you know what the people, that's also the direct marker of demonic activity and stalking by the people. As you are walking to your job under the fake sun and directed light, you are stalking. You don't have any First Amendment right, and that is no excuse from the state's pattern of conduct that is underway, as you are also engaging in the demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with noise and exiting out your car, entering inside of the building, or exiting out, whatever it is that you're doing while you want to claim you're at your job, you're doing it pursuant to that demonic behavioral pattern. You are engaging in the perpetuation of that criminal system, which is ceaselessly underway. There is no form, and this is ongoing terrorism everywhere that you're going, and that's why you have a random car that drives by and that impossible light occurs. This is demonic possession that is above the identification of any one person. It's indiscriminate. This is what is plaguing the people of the state, and it is seen through this environment that I have thoroughly exposed. I've thoroughly exposed it, all right? And then the conduct, not just the environment, the conduct of the state. Well, for when I'm giving you an example of what they're doing with the audible activity, by they, I mean the state, what the state is doing with audible activity, and how the people are supposed to be the guys under which that activity, and the people acting in their vehicles, the sound of traffic, or some commercial actor, i.e. Amtrak, being the guys under which this activity is being maintained. So I want to document license 8CVR965. This third party gets out of that vehicle, and it looks like it's this business that I documented on Lemon and Transit. Regardless, he's creating activity. He's under the fake sun, and he got out of that car. So 8CVR965, and now he is pacing in what I will identify as 7LKW379 while the state flies over, and directed light is right here in front of me. All right, it is 8:55 a.m. and I captured that video of the group stalker that got out of 8CVR965, and the group stalker, she remains inside of that vehicle while the state flies over, and the state's fake sun is directly over my head as I stand in the street, and he is seeing doing what is pacing in a vehicle, light activity, while the state flies over in a plane, okay? And you see the impossible light activity on the asphalt and on the vehicle. That's exactly what they're doing while they are driving on Holt Boulevard, as I documented, all right? That's P.O.C. 7FJT847. All right. Would you like to say something? All right. I was about to say, understand we have a third party, just like I documented at Starbucks. They're engaging in demonic terrorism and are hostile to being documented. All right. These are psychopaths, and they're going to be documenting anything you say. I'm also prosecute you for that. I'm not crossing the street. You're stalking. Let me get your license plate. 8SCV291, touching with directed light while the fake sun is behind his vehicle. In the shade, just like I showed you in video on Holt Boulevard. 8SCV291. All right, it's license plate, like I was reading, 7KIY350, and license plate 05905K2, 6RTY432. SINTAS, CINTS. That commercial vehicle, demarking the presence of a third party using a commercial vehicle. They are monitoring, and the state's environment is present, and that's the evidence of that. 8ULK597, 7KCF313, 8CJD478, 8GCW229, 7PZE170, 8AZB703. The Centos license plate is 67059F3. Group stalkers sitting in the vehicles of the museum of the parking lot. This is City of Ontario, license 1438317. Group stalker in a silver Tundra truck. This is a white male. 43205 Robert 2. 7 TSW 305. 5 VES 486. 8 AZB 703. I think I read that one. 8 MSU 249. 8XCR 552, 8SZZ 581. I am at Emporia and Lemon, and the States Fake Sun is right here over the corner. Let me show you how far away that is from the library, from Shiro's Liquor. Starbucks located at 706 West Holt, from Starbucks located at 507 North Euclid. I'll show you that right now. All right, I captured another lengthy video because I want to give context as to where I'm at, and this is at the backside of the museum, and I'm at Lemon and Emporia, and this is where the state's fake sun is over my head right now after leaving clear. As I leave from the museum, I walk north of Euclid Avenue, and the state's fake sun is in alignment to me, as I've shown in tons of videos. The state's keeping its fake sun as I walk north. The state's fake sun has moved south to be over me, literally at the intersection of Emporia and Lemon. So this is going backwards in the opposite direction, south, after trails to go north. So this is clear migration anywhere that I go, just like I show as I come from 507 North Euclid Avenue from G Street, and I walk south to get to that Starbucks like I showed, and I was walking south to get to that Starbucks, and the state's fake sun remains in alignment with me, and at the same time, nowhere even in this direction of the museum, of Emporia, okay? Nowhere even in this direction, the state's fake sun was in direct alignment and then remained over the Starbucks building. Not even in the direction of this south portion of Euclid at all, okay? But you have what is keeping in alignment with me, though, directly over my head and in straight alignment with me. 4HXX229, engaging in that ongoing pattern, doing its duty to maintain crossing the path under the fake sun while I stand in the shade at the Amtrak train station. This is ongoing documentation. Recall, upon being released from kidnapping by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, by the Ontario Police Department, and the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, I captured on December 8th. It was the first night. I was released on December 4th. I want to say it was December 8th, I believe. And I'm standing at the back street and I'm capturing a group stalker that's pacing in their vehicle. And then he gets out and he's acting like he's taking pictures using a camera, but he's acting as though this is his form that doesn't exist. And the fake sun is directly over my head while I'm standing at Emporia. Let me point this out. This has absolutely nothing to do with any time of year. I have captured the state engaging in the same exact conduct, being everywhere that I'm at, irrespective of the time of year. This is blatant stalking with a light source. And as I showed at December 8th, 2020, where the state's fake sun was over me at this intersection where I stood at Emporia at the dead end where that group stalker was pacing in a vehicle under the fake sun, all right, right there at that intersection. And December 7th, as I stood outside of the Baymont Inn, at a totally opposite end of Holt Boulevard. I mean, it's not even on Holt. It's Baymont Inn is off of the freeway, and the state's fake sun, while the state is stalking in a helicopter, okay, this is documentation that is already published, and this is what the state is doing with its lights. So like I said, I am stressing a point that I've already established. I am showing what is demonic activity, and these are psychopaths, and they are stalking, and that's why you have this demonic light, which is no kind of sunlight whatsoever. That's not sunlight, and sunlight doesn't do that. Sunlight is not appearing behind your car while you're driving toward what's supposed to be the sun. Sunlight is not in front of your car while you are driving away from what's supposed to be the sun. Sunlight is not beside your car and covering over the asphalt and the sidewalk and the building up to the top of the building in line with your vehicle while you are driving next to the sun that's above you. That's not sunlight. Sunlight is not covering the ceiling while you are driving under the sun that's hitting on either side of your car. That's not sunlight. All right? This is demonic. And this is revealing what is demonic possession by a people. That's what the environment is revealing. I'm just revealing to you that the environment exists. How does this impossible light occur? Why is this impossible light occurring? It's denoting demon possession. A demonic environment for those that are demon possessed, who are together engaging in targeting one person together. That's terrorism. Because the actor that's doing this is the government. This is the state, public entity, and the people of the state of California. The randomness of this conduct, as I'm inside of a Starbucks, as I'm walking down the street, it is the entirety of the people of the state of California. That's randomness, okay? It's not just a particular actor. It's not just at a certain zip code. It's not just at a particular venue. It's everywhere. All right. And this is demon possession made manifest, that which you actually cannot see visibly on a person. But you know it by the environment. You know it by their conduct. And they are stalking together. These are psychopaths. And this is the terrorism. That's the marker of it. And so and revealing also what is the absence of any guys as police officers. As officers of the court, as those who are engaged in the medical profession. This is supposed to be that which makes them above suspicion or removed from the pattern of conduct, and it does not. In fact, those are the very actors that engaged in obstruction of justice trying to conceal it. showing even more so that they are demon possessed as they engage in that system and engage in blatant, egregious criminal activity, trying to conceal it. What I am documenting, having no right to do so whatsoever. They did it because they are of the same demon possession, the same criminals engaging in that same criminal system, acting directly as a state. Right. It's currently 9:07 a.m. and at this time I have been literally at 706 West Hope Boulevard, being over my head at the Amtrak train station right now, which the state is. That is absolutely impossible to coexist with being directly over my head at 706 West Hope, which is much not only north but west down Hope Boulevard. And I would never be able to capture the sun, if that was actually the sun, over my head, next to the logo of the Starbucks sign as I stand in the parking lot facing east, underneath the right in front of the entrance, while I'm standing in the parking lot of this parking lot, while I'm standing in the parking lot of this venue, while I'm inside of the Starbucks, and I'm capturing the state's fake sun, not at a distance as though it's over Hope Boulevard, and you're gonna argue, oh, well, yeah, it's directly above me as I'm looking out the window, looking up in the sky over me, inside of the Starbucks. Over me as I move to the front, which is movement, because if it's directly over my head while I'm looking out the window, then I'm not going to see it piercing over the edge right next to the logo as I exit, standing in front of the entrance, right there in the front. That's movement of the light source, in the same way that as I move north and south, east, west, outside, and the state's light source is moving. That's literally what the state is doing with its light source while I was at the Starbucks, while I've been at Mercy House, while I'm walking down the street, any street, while I'm inside of the building of the library, while I enter and exit the 150 East Holt, the state facilitating venue of the public health clinics. All right, everywhere, while I'm in the parking lot of B&G Plaza. All right, that is the pattern of conduct. That's demonic. And this is the condition of everyone that I'm encountering, everyone that I'm documenting, everyone that is in relevant position, in other words. Everyone. And those who are engaging, those are demons that I'm encountering that then also have the audacity to be hostile, because I'm going to prosecute them for the demon-possessed, stalking sex offenders that they are, because it's not a secret anymore. I am literally blowing up and making visual for everyone to see that which they maintain as a secret, their demon possession. It's not a secret anymore. All right. And I'm showing you the ways in which you identify it anywhere that you are. If the state is engaging in this system, wherever that you are, this is how you can identify it. This is the marker, and this is what denotes demon possession and a demonic environment where the state's pattern of conduct is underway, because this is a demonic system. It's criminal. It's operated by a government, but this is a marker of demon possession. It's no criminal system by the government. The government is engaged and entangled in that which is of Satan. And there is no mistake about it, okay? It's 9:10 a.m., and that is P.O.C., and I want to get one more video. I'm getting lengthy videos, and I'm focusing on what is the state's conduct with directed light, all right? The state is aiming light in multiple directions. The state is also stalking with a light source. The state is engaging in different methods of directed light. Directed light in the form of what is concentrated light that you can see. I've also shown you what is directed light where you only see it where your shadow is appearing, or it looks like there's no light there, but you know that there's light there because your shadow is appearing in what's supposed to be the shade. You would think it's the shade. No. You pay attention to the environment, and this is what I've shown underneath shaded walkways at Mercy House. I've shown this. I'm standing under what's a covering, but my shadow is appearing in the shade. I am being molested with directed light. That's another method of directed light, and that's what the state is always, at all times, keeping present. This engineered light that is more powerful than what is sunlight. This is not sunlight. This is demonic. But it is prosecuted as engineered light. This is the state's engineered light. This is not sunlight. This is not normal light. All right. Engaging in creating shadows on both sides of you, creating multiple shadows, aiming light such that your shadow is perpetually moving ahead of you as you're walking. It's in front of you, just like I showed inside of the library yesterday, and it's continuously keeping ahead of you by pacing up. That was a shadow that was moving up repeatedly as I was walking forward. Okay. Your shadow is not in front of you. Your shadow is behind you as you are walking in. And not only that, your shadow is not active and dynamic. You have one shadow that is stationary as you are stationary, and then it remains where as you move, you move. Your shadow is not in and of itself moving and keeping pace like I showed in a video. That's what you see inside of that venue of the library, where there are sex offenders engaging the P.O.C., which I again documented. All right. These are demons that are entering into engage in sexual perverted conduct as a group. Right, that's the pervert that invades with light. That's the pervert that's stalking conspicuously and inconspicuously, and that's the pervert that wants to be in and invade the private space as well, while they are listening to you disrobe and your genitalia being exposed. This is the reality of demonic conduct. This is the reality of the sexual violence, where demon possession is the condition of those that surround you, and you don't even know that you're being violated in such a manner. All right. Demon possession is in no way impervious to being prosecuted. Okay. It is legally relevant for what is terrorism. That's exactly what it is. By the maintenance of this environment, which is totally abnormal and unnatural and demented, by the behavioral conduct of the entity and directly and vicariously, which is totally abnormal and demented, by the engagement in the ongoing criminal pattern of conduct of stalking with all three elements: light, activity, and maintenance in the path. All right, that is terrorism by that entity. And demon possession, which is what characterizes the system, no way impervious to prosecution, no way impervious to being identified objectively as a matter of evidence that you can see, regardless of the fact that you cannot see demon possession with your eyes on a person, but you can see it through their conduct. They demonstrate it. The environment tells you about it. All right. It's 9:13 a.m. and I'm going to get one more video because I just want to show the criminal activity that 507 North Euclid Avenue engaged in. When I said I'm prosecuting Starbucks, that's what I mean. Those are demon-possessed stalkers and sex offenders that had the audacity to engage in what is obstruction of justice, summoning those demon-possessed stalkers of the Ontario Police Department while they are monitoring together because they're hostile, that I'm revealing them as the demons that they are, as they're engaging in criminal activity and doing so with those who are even under the age of 18, which is relevant to prosecution because demon possession is not limited to your age. All right. You're talking about creating a legal context for that which is totally outside of the bounds of nature and what man creates, which is law. But you can take that which is of darkness, that which is of wickedness, that which is beyond what you can see. All right. Speaking to the condition of man. And you can create a formula whereby you can prosecute it. And it is based on that which we do focus on, objective facts, things that you can observe, all right? Things that you cannot deny, all right? Regardless of the fact that it's rooted in demonic conduct, which that'll just be relevant to what is speaking directly, bringing into the mental state of those engaging in the system. That's what that's relevant to, because you're a psychopath and you are very disturbed in all the ways in which they engage in that system, doing it with minor children, all right, doing it in a private space, doing it while you're engaging in kidnapping, et cetera, et cetera. All of that goes to prosecution, and all of that goes to the plethora of ways in which you are able to attack the demonic as it engages in this targeting system together. It's not impervious whatsoever. I have shown you what is the objective evidence of not only demonic conduct, but criminal monitoring. And that is what you're going to prosecute on. That's the basis upon which you prosecute in federal court. It's 9:14 a.m. And this is perfect. I'm going to get Starbucks engaging in federal stalking while the fake sun is over here and the state is flying in an airplane. P.O.C.
Alrighty, I just captured another video, and I captured both the prosecution of what is Amtrak, as the state uses Amtrak train tracks to create audible activity, while the fake sun is directly over me at that Amtrak train station. While at 9:15 in the morning, let me be precise, and the state's fake sun, as I point out in that video, where everywhere else that I'm at, and the state is keeping in the same central location over my head, which I would not be able to capture if it was actually the sun at any of those locations. It's not coexisting. The state is keeping its light source central over my head. It is 9:18 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, I just want to know what I clearly captured, which is the state's fake sun behind the museum, by the way. And so while I am sleeping, for example, and I remain at the museum, and the state's fake sun is directly over the corner that I'm sleeping at the museum, the state's fake sun is nowhere near that location, right? Meaning, what I mean by that is, I would not be able to capture it as I did, all right, if that was actually the sun. And the sun is going to be consistent every day, okay? The sun is not engaging in this deviation, and not only that, it doesn't even look like, it's a low-hanging, humongous blob of light, all right? It does not even look like the sun, and if the sun was actually that close to us, we would burn up. I don't know how many times I have to point that out. That's not the sun, and it is a low-hovering light source that would burn, we would all be set on fire if that was actually the sun. But second of all, my point is that the consistency of the actual sun that is not present over 225 South Euclid Avenue physically, and yet it's still day, and it's still going to be daytime and light you can see outside. It's just this concentrated light that the state is aiming. This is the product of the state stalking with light conduct. And the state's light source captured over the south side of the museum as I slept there after 10 a.m., after 11 a.m., after 12 p.m. But what I have been documenting is the state's absolute removal from that location, as I am everywhere else, and I'm documenting the maintenance of that light source over me at those different addresses, all right? Even being right here over the Amtrak train station, I would not be able to capture what I did, which is the state's light source cozy right over me at the corner of the south side of the museum while I'm here at this time. The state's fake sun is directly over my head while I stand at the train tracks belonging to Amtrak, all right? Like the state is doing everywhere else that I go, all right? So, like I stated, this is that ongoing demonstration as Southwest Airlines and Amtrak provide you what is the engagement by commercial actors. That's what they do. They create activity using their commercial brand under the environment that the state is maintaining, amplifying that activity that they create, using their name brand to do so. It is no guise for what is the criminal system, and this is also demon possession by those flying those planes, by those conducting those trains, all right, pursuant to the same demonic behavioral pattern, all right? License plate 7V87219. Group stalking coming to the back street of Emporia and Lemon under the fake sun, maintaining presence, creates light activity while driving under the state's directed light. Let me get these group stalkers license plates on Emporia. 8KNJ137, 6PQB111. Yeah, 6PQB111. And you have... Oh, I already read his license plate. I read his license plate while I was standing at the intersection of Holt and, while I was standing in front of the exit doors of 150 East Seoul Boulevard, and the third parties were engaging in demonic activity as Impossible Light was trailing behind their cars as they drove in front of the state's fake sun in the east direction on Holt Boulevard, which I captured in video. All right, so the other thing is that, so the state's fake sun is over Emporia and Lemon right now, and the state's fake sun is at the same time over me, over the sign, while I'm facing Shiro's Liquor inside of B&G Plaza. I've documented this very heavily already early in 2021. And then I went to Economy Inn and documented what was the maintenance of that light source over that property for the duration of the day. All right, and then after that documentation was captured of the state literally moving its light source all over the place as I moved, which in and of itself is impossible. And then at Economy Inn, it remains there, rising and setting, and I put that in air quotes, at that address. All right. It is 9:23 a.m. in the State's Fake Sun, no longer over Emporia and Lemon at that Amtrak train station, as I clearly captured while the train is in front of me, State's Fake Sun right there over my head. And the State's Fake Sun is now moving north as I move north, going toward the library where it's already supposed to be present. Remember, that's what I captured in video, the Ontario police, those demon-possessed stalkers that were stalking at the parking lot of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. And the State's Fake Sun, as it was there around 7:45 in the morning, and moved to the opposite side of that library while the Ontario police are group stalking in that parking lot. And the State's Fake Sun remains at that library all day long, okay? This is demon possession. Sheriff's Department, 1133567. Driving a Sheriff's Department pickup truck. Demon possession, 8CPX192. State's Fake Sun is already present, documented on that morning, over the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, but not just over the library, moving to both sides of the library, meaning the side facing the senior center, and then as I go in, I capture those demon-possessed stalkers that are the Ontario Police Department. Group stalking in relevant position in the parking lot under the fake sun, which you clearly see in the video, which is hours before now. But yet you have it directly over my head right here while I'm at the Amtrak train station. And it is just like it was on that day, following keeping in alignment with me, because this is what the demons are doing. This is what demons are doing. They are focused on one. They're engaging in federal stalking together. It's demonic. That's what the state is doing now. And that's why this is also impossible to coexist with that documented direct evidence against the Ontario Police Department and the people of the state. All right, that is unmistakable documentation of stalking with light and does not coexist with what I just captured yet again. The fake sun is over my head at the Amtrak train tracks at 9:15 in the morning, and it's already present at the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, let alone every other venue. Every other venue. That's P.O.C. It is currently 9:25 a.m. State's Fake Sun, heading toward B&G Plaza as I am heading toward B&G Plaza. P.O.C. 5TMB 945 8VUJ 600 5PEV 892 8EAD 094 8PXC 963 7HUQ 367 8N 78500. And I've already shown even inside of the parking garage of the 150 East Holt, and my enlarged shadow, which was about 30 feet away from me, underneath this parking garage, and you saw my enlarged shadow on the wall, okay? That's demonic, and that lets you know what this one right here that has the nerves to say GACSON and Allied Universal, he's engaged in federal stalking, P.O.C. Group stalking in his car wearing an Allied Universal badge, okay? All right, in the same parking garage where my shadow was enlarged inside of the depths of that parking garage. Absolutely impossible light activity, 8N 78500, like I said. In the same way, the police exercise fictitious authority that they don't have while they're operating outside of the bounds of the law. You got this one, armed response, Allied Universal, Securitas, while they're engaging in federal stalking, all right? So this is speaking to the way in which you respond under federal law when you prosecute 8JNH 469 and what will be the restructuring of law now that it is known that the state is engaging in what is demonic conduct and terrorism of American citizens and monitoring federal stalking. It is license plate 6SOF 922. It's 9:27 a.m. $6H68086 7Z51455 7KUD373 5WSB144 7FAX171 7GOD918 77366D3 7SHF480 8JOZ525 5LDB009 6XAZ191 8KCK913 Stalking with noise in the drive-thru of the Andy's Burgers. And what do they have at their disposal? Opening and closing their car door while they're sitting in the drive-thru. Omnitrans. Using their buses and their vehicles. License plate 1410070. Transit supervisor engaging in federal stalking, vehicle number 487. License 5TSW947 7MPP523 8WBX172 8P12439 7WWF635 99369B1 8HMV050, 7UUL 852. It is currently 9:28 a.m. All right, Ontario Fire Department sounding sirens with simultaneity to my exiting of third-party facilitating venue Andy's Burgers, located at 310 East Hope Boulevard. And the state's fake sun is right over me at the entrance of this Andy's Burgers. So as I am inside and I just made a purchase, and I'm also on the surveillance cameras, which I reference as I enter, I reference as I exit, and the state engages in that behavioral pattern of stalking while I'm inside of a venue. And so as I exit, that's the Ontario Fire Department sounding its sirens, which will also be on the traffic cameras at Plum and Holt and at Euclid and Holt Boulevard. They're engaging in federal stalking. They're monitoring using that fire truck, both the lights and the sirens, as I exit, and the fake sun is directly over my head, and I'll show you that right now. All right, I did capture on video for you to see the presence of the state's fake sun right in my face as I am at the entrance of Andy's Burgers. And again, this is opposite the side of the Shiro's Liquor side, where as I am at that venue, the state's fake sun is right there over my head, while I stand in front of the entrance, right there over the logo, just like it is at Starbucks, just like it is while I'm at the entrance of the Ontario Open Family Community Library, just like it is as I am at the entrance of the 570 North Euclid Avenue Starbucks, okay? Just like it is where I am at the entrance doors of Mercy House on that property inside of the gates. And the state's fake sun is maintaining that central presence, all right? What I documented specifically is Ontario Fire engaging in P.O.C. and terrorism, using its sirens and lights, crossing path with simultaneity to my exiting of that venue while the fake sun is directly in my face as I am standing in front of the entrance of Andy's Burgers inside of B&G Plaza, where I made a purchase, and I am on surveillance cameras documenting my presence. License plate 7TNM826 and group stalking sitting in their car. This is maintenance in the path as I move, and monitoring with the fire department that was sounding its sirens. 8AFB411. License plate 7JTH952. 6ELY199 reverses and pulls out of the parking spot that's stalking with light. 8TXY112. 8USN224. 7MOK664. 8WYG091, 4GVE303, 8UKL071, 5ZBN702, 8THM932, 8VJV056. That's Amtrak. Again, that's going to be assigned to Amtrak because it's an Amtrak train tracks, and the state is using some random train that is not an Amtrak or passenger train to create noise. And that's also the implausible guise under which you're hearing train activity everywhere I go in Ontario. 8WYG091, 5XGZ503, 7TQT803, 7Y07892, 8GYU826, 8RYW083, 80565P. One. All right, group stalkers sitting in the path on transit. That's why the state's creating the audible activity of what are sirens. All right, they're stalking on transit as I'm inside of the plaza. This is called relevant positioning. All right, 4UZL113, sitting in their car, stalking in the path. All right, in relevant position on the adjacent street. That's called relevant positioning. That's called group stalking. 7YWR584, 7GPH529, 8RWB549, 5XUZ610. 7TKY793, 8TYF001. All right, using their business as a means of stalking with activity. That's Ulta. 8TLJ475. Ulta personnel. All right, 8TYF001. 4WNL161. And let me see, 6RXY460. It is 9:37 a.m. And I am referencing security cameras of the B&G Plaza. They are armed with surveillance cameras. And what the cameras are showing is federal stalking. Looking like you're doing whatever, walking to your job, walking to the store, driving in the parking lot. They're all engaging in federal stalking. It's called relevant positioning. Under what is a fake sun as you're looking at them do whatever they're doing. And the state is amplifying whatever it is that they're doing. It's federal stalking and it's demonic activity. You're looking at what is terrorism on the surveillance cameras. Now the state's fake sun moves from being over the center in front of me while I'm at the Andy's Burgers. As I go back to transit to get those group stalkers license plates, state's fake sun moves back to transit. Nowhere over the parking lot of the S.I.I.S liquor, opposite Andy's Burgers. And now it's back over the parking lot area of S.I.I.S liquor, where I am, all right? License 7SFK299, 7WQM293, 8FED335, 8RQE207, 8LTF433, 7ZGN124, 47418H1, 8AAR827, 7XQL896, 7FLX590, 8G86388, 8GAS983, 7ZYN558, 6LYL833, and 8MSC107. It is 9:39 a.m. (47623) Edward 3. That's a white van leaving state facilitating venue of City Hall, crossing path and driving in the shade, just like I showed on Hope Boulevard. This is the randomness. This is what ties the entire entity together. This is demonic, right? Stalking with light. And while he is driving out of that parking lot that is at the intersection of B Street and Plum, you have what is, as the state's fake sun is right here over the Ontario Town Square. Right, it's actually past it because I'm standing at the intersection right where the Ontario Civic Hall sign is. So the state's fake sun moved across the street and it's over me at this area. While this third party drives in the shade, just like this one, I'm a document as well. The impossible light shooting off their driver's side while the state is hitting that same side. 6VRG403 repeats the same. 6W52351 repeats the same. 7KWF341, and again that was license 6W52354, 8TED555. They're monitoring together, but as you identify one demon, then they'll come and repeat it, just like I showed last night. They're all hiding, but they're all sitting around stalking, maintaining presence of the path. I document one that's a sex offender, and then all of them come out. They just start patrolling. These are demons, all right? And they are engaging in repeating that same impossible like conduct together. 8UHZ922. While they are driving toward the fake sun, exiting the City Hall parking lot at B Street and Plum, that is light bouncing backwards in my direction. So as it is, the state's fake sun is hitting their driver's side, the front of their vehicle, impossible light all over the asphalt in my direction while they cross paths. All right, and that's what they were all engaging in together. So I just got everybody at that intersection. It is 9:53 a.m. XL Transportation, stalking with their vehicle, California 374663. That is XL Transportation, stalking in the path, in the parking lot, pacing in the van. All right, that's going forward and reversing, going forward and reversing. It's not that they don't know how to drive. Everybody forgets how to drive when they're stalking, all right? It's a means of pacing and creating light activity. It's demonic. 9:53 a.m. P.O.C. 6WLP560, a veteran of the U.S. Army engaging in federal stalking, demon-possessed actor, okay? Indiscriminate, doesn't matter, and showing her true colors under the fake sun and molesting with directed light. That's a self-professed veteran of the U.S. Army. License plate 8RCK290. All right, XL Transportation making another round around, creeping around in a vehicle. This is a demon creeping in a car, creating light activity, relevant positioning, and molesting with the state, and engaging in terrorizing with the state, as impossible light is all over the vehicles as they're driving by. So this impossible light is hitting every car while they're driving by, and the state's fake sun is over the venue. That's that laser light conduct with light 421RZ as they drive by surfaces. This is what the state does with its directed light, for example, inside of the Ontario Open Family Community Library. Just hitting light with surfaces. This is the goal. This is what they're doing. All right, that's P.O.C. And using that commercial vehicle, again, that's Excel Transportation, California 374663, license 421RZ, handicap. All right, this is P.O.C., FSA, Family Service Association, Senior Nutrition Services. They're monitoring at third-party facilitating venues, senior housing partner at 280 North Lemon Apartments. There is no form. Those old people are serving Satan. Okay, it's P.O.C. and they're about half a block away from death. It's very sad. It is 9:55 a.m. All right, I want to document McCarthy, third-party group stalker, engaging in the creation of audible activity while the state molests with light, impossible light, that sweeps across the entrance of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library while a group stalker drives at the turn circle of C Street. This is exactly what you saw with the Ontario Police, while the fake sun is over here at the front side of the library, and a group stalker crosses path, and the state aims light, impossible light, vibrant orange color light, sweeping it across the entrance. All right, just like you see across the ground inside, that's what the state just did across the entrance. McCarthy is creating audible activity, monitoring with that entity. McCarthy is engaging in sexual violence, touching all over my person with that directed light, while they're creating audible activity, which is accomplishing criminal monitoring. That occurred right now at 9:59 a.m. And the group stalker, the female, she's holding books. She's about to enter and be on surveillance cameras as well. She's monitoring with it. That's attributed to Ontario Ovid, which are already monitoring. And I'm going to show you the video of the state's fake sun, which is right here at the library, where it's already supposed to be before 7:30 a.m., but I captured it remaining at the train station of Amtrak, moving forward to be over me at the entrance of Andy's Burgers, in conflict with where it's already supposed to be, clearly over this location, which does not coexist with every other location, which is also over being the Ontario Town Square, Starbucks at 706 West Holt, Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where at the same time I have been at those venues, and the state kept its fake sun directly over my head. It is not both directly over my head at 215 East C Street, on the side, very precise in alignment to me, and very precise in alignment to me over my head at any other of those addresses, including at the back of the museum at the Amtrak train stations. All right, this is P.O.C. and that's sexual violence by McCarthy. All right, monitoring with a third party who's escaping no one. They're prosecuting each other. This is group conduct, and that is being molested by McCarthy. That's creating audible activity under the fake sun in directed light. 10 a.m. TBB 871, group stalking, acting with another group stalker that turns on their hazard lights. It would appear to be like their car alarm, which causes light activity at the same time that this group stalker drives by. That's coordination. That's how they just touch with directed light. So glad I got that one. They just go in the turn circle. This is pacing in directed light. 8TBB 871 and acting with 7VFZ 948. All right, that's a demon, literally engaging in pacing around and touching. That's a sex offender. It is 8:30 p.m. Monitoring with the group stalkers that are pacing on B Street. They are driving what is east on B Street, and the Amtrak train, the train is used as a means of audible activity while they are stalking in relevant position. That is pacing all around me as I leave third-party facilitating venue, the Ontario Open Family Community Library. So that license plate literally engaged in coming to cross path. This is terrorism, because understand that this is how the people act together. So this is this ominous conduct, and this is the identical behavioral pattern. They are not merely driving by, they are engaging in maintenance of presence and molestation in doing so. This license plate that I just recited, they drive by at the same time that another group stalker at the end of the street flashes lights with their vehicle. All right, and then I recite their license plate. All they do is make a U-turn at that C Street turn circle, and the state is sounding the sound of the train, right, which is loud at the library entrance. Okay, this is audible activity, and the state's directed light, as I've already shown, is always present, and they touch with molested light as well. I'm sorry, they molest with directed light as well, as they make that U-turn, which is literally the pacing in front, which is what third parties do. This is terrorism, as demons are engaging in stalking. License plate 8PVB020. It is 8:32 p.m. Directed light as that license plate enters the parking lot, just like I showed you with arm response. Their headlights were the poor form for what was highly magnified light. As that license plate enters the parking lot, it covers the entirety of that same brick wall where armed response was aiming light and the state was aiming light. 8ELX435. All right, so that is this is group stalking, and they're just maintaining presence. These are demons stalking all around. All right, that's the terrorism of the people. My shadow is on both sides of me, so I'm just reciting the ongoing environment as I document, and those that I've already documented, it's ongoing criminal activity that the entity is to be prosecuted for. And I want to get the license plate of that third party who used their vehicle for light activity at the same time that the group stalker paces on C Street. That is license plate 7XFL094. And enters into what is Metro 102 third-party facilitating venue, residential apartments. It is 8:33 p.m. This directed light, and they enter into Metro 102 apartments. This is license plate 7KCZ834. P.O.C. and the state is flying right in front of me in a plane. That's a sex offender and a terrorist, okay? Monitoring and stalking with the state. There's your evidence against that third party that I just documented. And that third party is acting in concert with the people of the state. That is the people engaging in the state's pattern of conduct. It's 8:34 p.m. and that's the state flying right here in front of me, flying west over the Metro 102 apartments as I am walking on the sidewalk in front of Metro 102 apartments at Lemon. Flying right in front of me, okay? Just like they are at the train tracks. Southwest Airlines is not flying anymore over the museum like it is when I'm on the property of the museum. The Southwest Airlines is flying over the train tracks as I'm standing next to the train tracks. That's why the state right now is flying over Metro 102 apartments while I am walking on the sidewalk of Metro 102 apartments. And that third-party group stalker whose license plate I recited is creating light and molesting with the state that is touching all over my body, having no consent, and certainly no right as the state to touch at all, in any place, at any time. That's P.O.C. It is 8:34 p.m.